Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics. I'm your host, Kevin, and this is Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 7/1, 2026. And I appreciate each and every single one of you that cruises on through. I truly do. And, without you, it only, well, I wouldn't even have as much fun as it truly is. I'm just saying. And I just got one last thing to load on in really quick, and I'll be right there. There it is. There it is. Sweet. Let's take a moment and say hi to those of the cruise on through on the live. Let's cruise this. How you do? Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you being here, dude. Truly do. Let's start off. Let's talk about DC. DC is gonna start and give us. Hey, let's take a moment and say hey to Jack. How you do, brother? Hope you're doing well. Is going to give us Batman issue number 11. What's so significant about this? That's really kind of piqued my interest. I rarely talk about DC books, but this one, ever since we lost a Pennyworth, we finally gained one. I'm curious to see what this introduction is all about. I'm not going to give any total spoilers away, but you did hear the last name right there. And wow, I'm interested to see after so long of the absence of the Pennyworth that we knew and loved for so long, what kind of replacement do we get? And what does it look like? And how long? You just have to wait and see. For those of you that have just tuned on in, DC Batman issue number 11 coming out on 7/1/2026. That's definitely one of my most anticipated reads. So let's move out from that and let's cruise over to IDW. IDW. Man, I really been digging what they're doing, especially with all their horror stuff. I just can't get enough. And speaking of which, what we're getting from them is another one of their horror specials. Oh, I'm trying to do too many things at once. I'm almost there. I am almost there. Never mind. Yeah, IDW has given us Event Horizon Inferno, issue number 3. This is a sequel to, like, not only the book, which came out and gave us an intro, but more so to the movie. This is a continuation of What If. We're supposed to get a continuation, which there are rumors. We understood what transpired after what we have at the end of the movie, because in some regards, they really left it in a way that there's so much to expand upon. This storyline and movie is that in which of such pain and suffering and sorrow and yearning and the do so all initiated from love. It's my all-time favorite sci-fi horrors. And as a book, it's really given me a deeper understanding of what I also had a small kind of inclination to. I mean, it's easy to speculate on this, but without really having some confirmation, which these books somehow do so, it does affirm some of the speculation that I have as far as storylines are concerned and the story. Stating, Event Horizon issue number 3, Inferno, really is, like I said, a conclusion to, and I really like how the storyline is developing. I'm looking forward to jumping on into it. Let's move out from IDW and let's cruise over to Image Studios. Image. They're going to give us Ghost Machine, the official handbook. Now, understand this. These Ghost Machine handbooks are not in any way a read. What they really are is just more of a resource book to give you an understanding of the characters in which that have not only shown themselves and had introductions full length, have made spotlight introductions where we just got to see them just for a moment and they took the stage and then bailed off. or even characters that we're soon to see or even have a better understanding of how their presence was already felt and known and how it's influencing the storylines that we already been reading, or how they're soon going to be influencing the storylines, or how they've influenced the storylines but we never knew it and we're only getting introduced to the characters as a witch. I really like what they're doing with this whole Ghost Machine official handbook, because not only does it reintroduce me to characters that I already know, but give me a better understanding of these characters in which that you somewhat kind of substantively know. And now that they give you a deep dive and they give you a little look into the future, I'm digging what they're doing with this whole Ghost Machine handbook. I think if it's on issue number 4, if I recall, I'm way behind. Hey, it comes out on 7/1/2006. If you're interested and you've been reading all the Ghost Machine stuff, highly recommend it. Let's move out from Image and let's cruise over to Marvel. Yeah, Marvel Studios. Here we are, and here we go. We only have a few books here, and we're going to start it off with Amazing Spider-Man issue number 32. Basically, what I'm out of, I have yet to keep up, so I'm out of words to really be stated in this thing because I'm about 4 issues behind. Really, what we're getting here, it's just more of a lead into issue number 1000. Storyline has been kind of flat for me. I mean, where I'm at is it's kind of cool, but what I've been seeing and kind of flipping through, it's set up for 1000. I'm really curious what this 1000 is going to do and how it's supposed to. They're doing a lot of teasers and it's supposed to impact, as they always say with these teasers, Peter Parker. As it goes from here on in, all new stuff. We'll see. I'm reading it. We'll see what happens after 1000. Maybe I won't after then. Let's move out from Amazing Spider-Man issue number 32 and let's talk about Doctor Strange issue number 8. Now, you know that I've been talking about this stuff for quite some time, and I'm following anything and everything that's been relating to it as far as what's been going on after the whole blood hunt stuff. So much transpired. That, which, and to me, more importantly, especially as I'm speaking about what I'm talking about right now, and Doctor Strange. And then this issue number 8, what we're getting is because of this search for magic to go ahead and what he thinks he has to do, challenge for the magic that he is entitled to as far as his titles are concerned. But he doesn't even know Doom the God. And he can't even get back to Earth if he wanted to, bridge and all that. He's in a whole lot of problems. And now what we get is a Lord Strange, whole new identity for him. Nah. What do we get is an alter ego? More than likely. What that manifests at and what it looks like, I guess we're all going to have to find out in issue number 8. Doctor Strange, issue number 8, coming out on 7/1/2026. Let's move out from that and talk about The Mortal Thor, issue number 12. I love this cover. And when you really think about what was transpiring when we got the ending of when, this is way long ago, we saw Loki leave, I can't remember his name right now, but down in that one pit with that viper dripping venom into his eyes, and then we end up seeing him coming back, and now he's been hunting, and that's what we're seeing him messing with Thor, and it all kind of circles back, but even Thor doesn't even know what was going on. He was kind of absent of what Loki's been doing, not only behind the scenes, which obviously set him up to what we get this mortal aspect of Thor, but the torture that he has been doing on that other individual. Hopefully, we get a better understanding, a semblance of what's going on as usual. And as I continue to state, that's how far behind I am. You see that? That's 5 months worth of books. But I'm just going to go through more likely tonight and tomorrow. After which, that I end up getting one last thing done tomorrow. I think I finally got a bunch of things taken care of, so I can go ahead and do some things that I enjoy, which is not only reading books, but getting books signed, which leads us to the last book. So we're going to speak about this evening, which is coming from Mad Cave Studios. Mad Cave is going to bring us this week's Blue Light Special, which is The Last Starfighter, issue number 1. Now, this is a story that takes us 40 years after the saving of the galaxy with Alex Rogan. He has to train the next generation of starfighter. Without him, all is lost once again. It's the same threat, a slightly different stage because we get a 40-year later version of the character we've all come to love. Alex again not only has to save the day, but he has to do it with the next generation, the starfighter. I'm going to go ahead and meet the creative team. Hopefully tomorrow, if everything works out, which is Benjamin Robb and Derek H. Hughes, if I recall correctly. I believe that's who's supposed to be there. I'm hopefully going to go see them at one of two shops that they're doing signings at. This was one of my all-time favorite, let's say top 10 kind of B movies, especially when it comes to these type of space movies. You have an average kid, less than average kid, living out of a trailer park. One of what? Two, I think, video game machines that they had in the place was the last Starfighter. We end up learning that this machine was a recruiting device. As I said, now we end up learning 4 years later, Alex still has to go ahead and recruit individuals. How he does it, I'm curious to see. This is a takeoff from that original 40-year-old storyline, which, if I recall, not only pioneered the AI usage of digital stuff in movies. I believe this was the AI pioneer. But what we also got is one of those few movies that really encapsulated everything that was going on at the time. The 80s music, the hair kind of stuff, the everything video games, everything outer space and space war style fighting. It just, yeah. And the storyline is rather atypical. The fact that we get something which is kind of generic in the storyline, but does touch everyone in a kind of way that, because of how it encapsulates an era, to me, it not only gives me a little bit of nostalgia, but now that they're bringing it into a modern day, it pays a little homage to a great storyline. To those of you that cruise on through, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Jag, Las Cruces. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys. And hey, that's it for me. That should be. You take care.